On this episode of Magic Customs, we finally get the truck straightened out, take it for a beat. I'll show you guys how to hook up a throttle valve cable the correct way, not really, but a way that works. Get this thing tuned, take it for a rip. Let's take Jess for a ride and maybe we do a burnout, I don't know. All right guys, truck update. It's my work stand. So I bought probably 3 or 4 different throttle cable brackets with return springs, but this is mechanical linkage, as you can see here. Runs down to a bar that pivots off the pedal. Now you can hook like a fork and, you know, into this with a cable, and I bought the low car cable kit that attaches here and it comes out, and then it gives you a spot. You use your the teardrop for the low car kit, which is here. And that's for, this is an AOD. If you guys don't know, AODs use a TV cable, not a kickdown cable. That stands for throttle valve, as far as I know. So the transmission shifts off of pressure. So if you don't hook up a TV cable and an AOD, and you go take it for a rip, you just burn the transmission up almost immediately. Like, you will destroy a transmission just kind of taking it for a test drive. You'll ruin the tranny. So what this does is, this cable is from low car, goes down, hooks up to the bracket in the transmission. You probably can't see that. So as you're driving and you accelerate, this cable pulls and it adds more pressure to the transmission. And that's actually how you can adjust your shifts, by you make these slight adjustments with the bracket. Now I made that bracket because I made a bracket before, very crudely, kind of horrible, but it worked, right? Truck shifted great, kicked down good. So I hate messing with it if it works, and the throttle just works, right? It's mechanical, I get it. It doesn't rub on anything, but in the end, you know, if it's not broke. So basically all I had to do is I had to cut the sheathing back, because I had that thing like wrapped around, and it was so hard to press the pedal because the cable right here was just like this, basically. And then at the bottom it had a really sharp 90, so I fixed all that. And if you guys have to cut like cable like this, I don't know, we have a second channel where we do bicycles. You guys got to get yourself a set of these. These are for bikes, right? Well, I don't know if they're for bicycles. They're kind of built for that, but these are cable cutters. This is ideal. One quick snip and you're done, and it actually cuts through the housing because it is wide enough to cut through the housing. So what we're going to do right now is, this has this little kind of stop ferrule with a barrel connector with an Allen. Now, the ideal way to set this is by pressure. Originally, I pulled the plug out of the side of the transmission. I ran a gauge into the cab, and I looked at the pressure. And then it says, well, after you do that, you know, adjust for your shifts here. Okay, so the pressure that they said is kind of a guideline. As long as you're pulling on this thing, you know, when you're accelerating, I think you're okay, and then you can adjust from there. As long as it's building pressure as you accelerate, I think you're okay. I'm not a transmission guy, so don't adjust it by me. I just know that has worked for me with this truck, and that's the way I'm going to do it. If I burn the tranny up, you'll be the first to know. So at this point, she's dialed up, right? A couple other things. I got the booster hooked up. I got the PCV hooked up. I got this little cheapy breather because the other one fed into the air cleaner. I didn't want to do that. We have reference to the distributor. The distributor is timed, and I think I could lean it out a little bit, but it runs pretty good. Starts right up. I'm going to tighten all this down, and then we're going to adjust this, and we're going to see how far we make it if the truck goes into gear and stuff. The transmission leaks like a sieve. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know if it's the pan or the pump seal. I got a bunch of brake clean, I'm gonna spray it off, and that's a whole nother episode. The rear end in the truck's not real good. A lot of really whiny. Leaks out of the pinion seal. I do keep putting fluid in it, but you know, that I just need to do that. I'm actually thinking about buying a whole third member and chunking, you know, with a locker and throwing it in there, because you know, truck's registered and insured. I'm just going to drive it, so why not? I mean, I think they're like $1,000. That's a lot of money to put into a truck that, you know, I paid all the money for this truck and it didn't even run. And if I told you what I paid for it, you guys would be like, Dave, what the hell's wrong with you? But you know, we got to do some body work. We're going to fix up here, fix the hood. You know, there's a lot of Bondo in this truck. This has like a skim coat through the whole thing. It's not going to be perfect. It's just a shop beater. I need to plug all the holes in the firewall, right? Got a bunch of holes in the firewall. And then, you know, we'll pluck away at it. I originally said I'm going to turbo it. I don't necessarily know I want to after taking that engine apart. And that's the other thing we're going to do. I'm going to change the oil in this thing. I think I'm going to run motor flush through it. I know a lot of you guys advised against that. They're like, Dave, you're going to break up all the shit in it and it's going to go into the oil pump. But I mean, it's so bad. It needs to be broken up. I think if I run like, you know, every oil change, just run a can of motor flush through it and see if it can clean it out. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll smoke the motor, whatever. At this point, I mean, it's bad. It's bad enough that it needs to be addressed. So that's where we're at with it. So hopefully I'm going to get that buttoned up. And I think we can take it for a ride. Oh, I got to put the battery hold down back. But had to put a little spacer here, so this clears everything, clears the distributor. I know you guys are like, oh my god, an HEI and a Ford is an abomination. Cry me a river. The thing works awesome. All right, so right now it's got too much throttle valve pressure because it should have been in overdrive. It won't shift out unless you let off the throttle all the way. So I have to take a little bit of slack, or I have to add slack to that cable. It's got too much pressure. But other than that, she gets up and goes now. I hear the 4 barrels open. That's good. That's all I really wanted, guys. It's not a race car. It's just, you know, you can hear another exhaust leak, and that makes me sad, but whatever. I think we might take the turbo mufflers off of here and just put some single chambers with an X pipe and see how that does. I think in the fuel cell we have like some gas left over from when we went to Juarez, Mexico. It's like 63 octane, or it could be 87 octane from down the street. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the right thing, and this is so poorly made. What a piece of crap. We're going to go with the famous O'Reilly's Octane Booster. There's currently, this is like a 15 gallon or 14 gallon tank. It's about half full. So about to say 5-7 gallons in there. This does 21 gallons. So we'll just, you know, we'll just do that. Perfect. All right, we got Octane Booster in it. Let's see if it'll fire up. This is attempt number 2. Yeah. All those guys that are like, idle junk. Yeah, I sure, bud. Sure. Now, that Chinese knockoff carburetor you guys saw in the last video, I'm like, oh, this thing's junk. Probably not that. It's probably me. I found some vacuum leaks. I found some timing issues. It was unfair of me to even say that without running it. Now, granted, it is a knockoff carburetor. So anyway, we may try that carburetor on something else just to see, does it work or not? So with an AOD, what you want to do is, you know, you loosen your back nut. Let me see if I can show you guys. You loosen the back nut here, and then you allow this to come through. And what that does is that adds a little bit of slack to this cable. This cable was like super tight before, it's not now. And then you tighten everything back up. So what that should do, in theory, is next time I take it out, it should shift at a lower RPM. When I was really into it and then backed out of it, it still wouldn't shift out. And that happened, you know, originally when I set it up the way low car says to set it up. It really wouldn't shift. It wouldn't go into overdrive. If it did, you had to be off the throttle completely in the overdrive, and as soon as you rolled back into it, it would drop back into third gear. So you know, it's minor adjustments back and forth, but I mean, we got it whooped. All right, so we're leaving the Dollar General. We have our items. I have adjusted the shift points or the throttle valve cable yet again. Probably not enough, but hopefully it's better. And what we realized is we need a ton of sound deadening in the truck, because it's all just a steel floor and there's holes everywhere and I can't even hear myself thinking here. All right, will it shift? That's a good shift. Okay, that was reasonable. All right, now. No, there's a car. I'm going. Well, that was okay. See what we want to do. See, right now, it's all the way down. There we go. All right, that's where, yeah, it's way better now.
I can smell.
Piece of shit. Alright. Let's see if we can get into the 4-barrel a little bit.
It sounds like we're going so fast.
Yeah. That's all it has to do. It just has to sound cool. It actually's got tons more get up than it did. A lot more power. I'm sure that 2-barrel carb wasn't jetted right. The 4-barrel intake with the Edelbrock carburetor, you know, how much gain are you going to get out of that? Maybe a little bit more. It doesn't. I mean, you know, by the ass dyno, it seems like it's a lot faster. Well, guys, there it is. Got it all together finally. After being sick. Carbs working mint. Throttle valves working. Little homemade bracket. Guys, learn from me. I bought 3 separate throttle cable setups for this. I didn't need any of them. I knew that. I should have just made it from the beginning. All you need to do, if you got a TV cable, is obviously the low car kit works well, right? Build yourself a little bracket, you know, that's a little TIG welded nonsense in there. I can show you that. All you need to be able to do is adjust the tension on that cable for the pressure. You know, I'm using the factory linkage that somebody cobbled together for the throttle. It works fine. I got a little breather on it. We got the booster hooked up. We got the PCV hooked up. We got the thing timed, you know. I was pedaling it, you know, spinning the tires. I mean, if I could just pull that thing down into first or second, just hammered on it, obviously it would just blaze them. That's not bad for a little 302 pickup. It's 1971. It's older than I am. So guys, just remember, you watch me do this, and if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.